in theory, you can take possession. But in reality, there is a shortage in the physical markets, particularly in silver, because that gets used up in manufacturing. Gold is indestructible, but silver is not. And so that's a big reason why we're seeing silver's outperformance. However, having said that, even when it broached that $80 an ounce, which to some people just seems incredible,
Yeah.
I am going to suggest to you, it is not even marginally close to the true fundamental value of an ounce of silver. If the markets were fair, then you would see gold somewhere around $40,000 an ounce and silver likely around $2,000 an ounce. So this is about trading. And yes, there are no limitations to what they can do as far as if they want to boost that, well, then they can lower the margin requirements and encourage more leverage and debt.
In this urgent market breakdown, veteran monetary analyst Lynette Zang explains why the physical silver market is far tighter than most investors realize and why current prices are nowhere near fair value. Unlike gold, silver is consumed in industrial manufacturing and permanently removed from circulation, creating a growing structural shortage that paper markets cannot fix. According to long-term monetary ratios and fundamental supply analysis, silver's current price, even at extreme highs, remains deeply undervalued. Under fair market conditions, silver's true monetary value is projected to rise toward $1,000 to $2,000 per ounce as physical availability continues to shrink and demand accelerates. This repricing would not be gradual but sudden and disorderly, driven by physical shortages rather than speculation. Gold is expected to lead this reset. Based on currency debasement and historical valuation models, gold is projected to move toward $40,000 per ounce, signaling a loss of confidence in fiat currencies. As gold resets higher, silver is expected to dramatically outperform on a percentage basis. If you found this helpful, like, share, and subscribe to The Metal Bar. Turn on the bell so you don't miss any updates, and comment below to share your thoughts on it. Appreciate you for tuning in. Now, listen to the interview.
It would not surprise me at all by the end of the year to see spot gold somewhere in the vicinity of even $6,000 an ounce. That wouldn't surprise me. And it wouldn't surprise me to see spot silver at around $200 an ounce. You might want to write those numbers down and we'll see how close I get. I would say, number one, don't worry about the contracts because they're not real. Go into the physical markets and hold it yourself.
Yeah.
That would probably be the single biggest thing because the paper markets can whipsaw like that, but the physical markets don't whipsaw like that. That requires time in the physical world. So we know that if you don't hold it legally, you don't own it, and this is the time to be at absolute safety. Do I think that with the Fed pivot and more money printing, the markets will go up? Yeah, because we are in the melt-up phase. But this looks an awful lot like 99 did. And keep in mind the derivative explosion that happened in 98 with long-term capital management that nobody really seems to know about because it was covered up so beautifully and quietly. But, I think we could see another derivative event in 2026 easily. And don't be fooled by the hype. You want to understand what's really happening. And that really is what they've been talking about openly for the last, 6-8 months, is the devaluation trade, which really is just lots more money printing, pulling the purchasing power value out of the currencies. That's what you need to protect yourself from. I think the biggest thing, and I don't think that most people realize it, is the breakdown that's really happening on Wall Street in terms of the contracts versus the physical markets. And I would say, especially with gold and silver, gold is the primary currency metal. Silver's the secondary currency metal. Silver and copper are used quite a lot in AI and all of the build outs of all of these energy generating units for AI. So, but you need the physical, because even though you're going to see some level of reflection in the paper market, you don't actually own the underlying. Now, that's not entirely true. You can buy a futures contract and you can take possession of, 500 ounces of gold or down to an ounce of gold.
In this urgent market warning, veteran monetary analyst Lynette Zang outlines why gold and silver are entering a decisive melt-up phase driven by currency debasement, excessive money printing, and a growing breakdown between paper contracts and the physical metals market. She explains that paper markets can be violently whipsawed, while physical gold and silver move more slowly, but with far greater long-term impact once shortages become undeniable. According to her outlook, it would not be surprising to see spot gold reach $6,000 per ounce by year-end, while spot silver could surge to approximately $200 per ounce. These projections are rooted in expanding central bank liquidity, a Federal Reserve pivot, and what she describes as a global devaluation trade that steadily strips purchasing power from fiat currencies. She also warns of rising systemic risk, drawing parallels to the late 1990s and the hidden derivatives crisis surrounding long-term capital management. With today's derivatives market vastly larger, another destabilizing event as early as 2026 cannot be ruled out. As confidence erodes, gold remains the primary monetary metal, while silver plays a critical secondary role, especially as demand accelerates from AI, energy infrastructure, and industrial buildouts. The message is clear: contracts are promises, but physical metal is ownership. Now let's get into the interview.
If you look at the CME contracts, what you'll find is in the last quarter of this year, there's like a huge spike into it. So the volatility is caused by the traders and also by the CME group. What did they do? Although this is not new for 2025, but as more and more interest in those silver contracts, we're not talking physical, talking about contracts. As those contracts as traders have been piling into the contracts, they've been raising the margin requirement, which actually just started yesterday as well. So, or on Monday is when those contracts went into effect, meaning that traders have to carry a lot more collateral on their books to execute these paper contract trades. So that, of course, there was a lot of profit taking on Monday's market, because that's also when those margin calls went into effect. So, or the new margin, I should say, went into effect. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to manipulate it when it's a paper market, but the reality is we are also transitioning into the physical market, giving you good price discovery, which we're not there yet, right? But that transition started last January. So we're like almost a year old into that transition. So yeah, there's lots going on. The central banks lower interest rates to inspire more of this stuff.
Right.
And the markets go, woohoo! I mean, on Wall Street, every single stock analyst, every single one is anticipating a huge stock rally into 2026. Why? Because they expect the Fed to lower the rates and do a lot more of this.
Right.
We already just recently saw the Fed pivot, turning around to buy the debt of the government, which we may have talked about because this was anticipated. Of course they will. Right? So, but none of this is about fairness. None of this is even really about real capitalism. It's really just about a trading market, a gamble, which is typical at the end of every single currency's life cycle. Very typical.
In this concluding segment, the discussion shifts to what is really driving today's extreme volatility in silver and broader financial markets, and why it has very little to do with fair price discovery. The focus turns to the explosive growth in paper silver contracts on the CME, where rising speculative interest has triggered higher margin requirements, forcing traders to post significantly more collateral. This sudden change has already led to sharp profit taking and violent price swings, underscoring how easily paper markets can be distorted. At the same time, the conversation highlights a deeper structural transition now underway, the slow but critical shift away from pure paper trading toward physical market realities. While true physical price discovery has not fully arrived yet, this transition began last year and continues to gain momentum as confidence in financial engineering erodes. Central bank policy remains a key accelerant. With rate cuts anticipated and liquidity expanding, Wall Street is overwhelmingly positioned for a powerful rally into 2026, where markets become less about capitalism and more about leverage, gambling, and intervention. As volatility rises and trust weakens, the gap between contracts and real assets becomes impossible to ignore. If you found this helpful, like, share, and subscribe to the Metal Bar. Turn on the bell so you don't miss any updates, and comment below to share your thoughts on it. Appreciate you for tuning in.